What are some things that are normal to women, but mind-blowing to men? Story 1. IUDs are inserted without any kind of anesthetic. If you're lucky, they warn you to take some Advil beforehand. Then they grab your cervix with metal tongs and force it open. I was swearing uncontrollably during the procedure. Cried, was close to passing out for 30 minutes, and felt sick for the rest of the day. It was the most pain I've ever been in. I remember being so pissed off at the doctor for downplaying how painful it could be during our original discussion about getting one. A pinch and some pressure. My base. I feel like I'm constantly being gaslighted by the medical community. Mine went sideways and had to be pulled out. They told me it wouldn't hurt, and it was the most pain I've ever felt in my entire life. I was on the pill and was experiencing insane mood swings. My doctor told me it's not possible and prescribed me an antipsychotic instead. I went off the pill and my mood swings completely stopped. I don't even know where to go from here. I have a diagnosis called PMDD, and I absolutely can't handle any sort of hormonal contraception. Have been using condoms for over a decade. There's a brand, Lilo Hex, which is really nice, thin and latex-free. Edit, not latex-free. I knew when my doc said, it will hurt a little, that it was going to hurt a lot. The doc pain scale goes like, you won't feel a thing equals it's going to hurt, but only for a second. It will hurt a little. You'll want to prep by taking some ibuprofen, equals it's going to be blindingly painful. Be prepared to scream. It's going to hurt, equals we are going to have to knock you out for this procedure, because it will be so painful. And yes, indeed did it hurt. Having an IUD put in means having a literal physical object inserted into an internal organ, and yet that somehow doesn't warrant local anesthesia, or at the very least more powerful pain meds or anti-anxiety stuff. Nope, just bite down on some leather, and pray you don't crap yourself. My doc prescribed me Valium for before the procedure, but I had to ask for it, and I only knew to ask because I was warned by others who experienced an extremely painful IUD insertion. Otherwise, I would have probably just expected it to not be much worse than a regular PAP. ETA. I just want to send some internet hugs to all of my fellow people with uteruses, whose pain is not taken seriously. My doctor is very compassionate and often mindful of pain, but I still had to ask for the Valium and a numbing spray the day. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. And if your OBGYN is giving you a hard time, and you have the means, I would encourage you to look elsewhere. Though I understand this is not an option for everyone. I've had OBGYNs who have been so mindful of pain, and I've had ones who made me feel like I'm a giant drama queen for experiencing pain, even during a regular PAP, and being so rough that I was bleeding afterwards. All my OBGYNs have been women. I sincerely hope women's health starts to be taken more seriously. Yep, ever since I got mine, I am very vocal about warning other women. I still think it was worth it, for me personally, and I still have the IUD. It was this or extremely debilitating periods. I don't know if I'll get another one. Once this one has run its course, my hope is that I'll be in menopause at that point, and can just use the pill again. But fellow women deserve to know how painful the reality of it is. And goddamn is it painful. The OBGYN that inserted mine was a woman. And she still fed me the, it hurts a little, just like a brief pinch, BS line. Part of me wonders if she told me that so I wouldn't be scared off. But I would rather have been warned. During the insertion procedure, I was just kind of lying there, pale, with my eyes wide open, because I was trying not to scream. The doc was like, "You're handling this better than most patients." And I was just barely clinging on. If me struggling not to pass out was handling it better than most, then I seriously wonder how it goes for other women who have no warning. Same with cervical biopsies, because numbing would hurt just as bad. I had a cyst removed in a very sensitive location and was not offered any kind of anesthetic, because a lidocaine injection would hurt just as bad and just prolong it. Then they cauterized with silver nitrate, which hurt almost as much as the actual removal. What gets me is that I recall reading a study that they decided not to recommend local anesthetic because they found for those who had it, it was the most painful part of the procedure. But doesn't that make sense? if for the following part it was numb. I got a tooth pulled today. The most painful part of the procedure was getting a shot in the roof of my mouth. Conclusion: they should just pull teeth without the shot first. Oh wait, no. That logic doesn't apply. Because tooth pain isn't a woman's issue. Story 2. A friend of mine called me because she was stranded in a dodgy part of town and needed to just have someone on the phone with her for comfort while she waited for her friend. Men kept talking to her, and she kept telling me how uncomfortable she is. Random dudes just constantly blowing kisses and coming to talk to her. One dude even tried to take her phone from her to talk to me. I've been in that part of town, but I'm 6 feet 3 inches and reasonably athletic. My experience of it was completely different. It was crazy. I could feel through the phone how vulnerable she felt, which I always knew was how it felt, but I had never actually felt it before. Hearing her fend off aggressive men was so nerve-wracking. My mom does that when she walks home from her friends. She lives in a small town, 14,000 population. I always take the call, but truthfully, I can't understand the scenario myself. I'm 6 feet 7 inches, slim, by wearing a coat can look big, and can travel across Europe solo, hosteling in the dark without issue. I'll always take the call and help, but from a personal perspective, I have no way to relate to it, which is sometimes hard, but it's good when I take her on holiday, and she can be out after dark, without thinking every dark corner is peril. Story 3. Walking around, acting normal, while you're bleeding, fatigued, cramping, and more. If someone was experiencing those symptoms as a result of anything else, they'd be on sick leave, or at least communicating to people how they're unwell. But nope, suck it up, and go about your day, like your uterus isn't trying to murder you. And don't forget to smile. Story 4. That sometimes there are lines inside women's bathrooms. I once went to the bathroom, just to pee, and came out around 10 minutes after. My male friends asked why I took so long. I said, because the line was long. They laughed at me and accused me of lying. That should be pretty apparent. If you've ever attended a large event like a concert or sports game, there is always a line extending outside the women's room. Musicals. Oh my god. They're the worst for women's bathrooms. So many older women at the show, and they're swarmed during intermission. Nothing like going to the bathroom and just not making it. Like, you have to go. You waited in line. But, oops, the show is back on. Better luck next time. At a production of Gypsy, I ducked out during Everything's Coming Up Roses, just to be sure I actually got to go. Fortunately, I'd seen the show before, but still. Story 5. Feeling a fart roll up your vulva in the front. Exit through the gift shop. I have 3 daughters, and my husband walked in on me explaining that bubble feeling to them the other day. I think something broke inside him in that moment. He just blanched slightly, turned around and left. Growing up, my mom always called them bubble farts. My sister and myself knew what she meant with no explanation needed. Ha ha ha. Reminds me of my niece blurting out something about the bubble farts to me one time, when she was much younger, as if it was a very relatable thing for everyone. I was like, ooh, that doesn't happen to me. And then she got this look on her face. Like, oh, yeah,